I go away for a little while. MAGA continues to wreck this country. From Trump trying to fire minority women, Lisa Cook, head of Federal Reserve Governor's Board, to now the CDC director that got hired under him is getting fired. We're going to break that down as well. I'm going to show y'all the cognitive dissonance of MAGA. How, in one hand, they're for MAGA, and then when MAGA does something wrong and they don't realize it, they decide they're going to stick with MAGA. You can't make this stuff up if you try, ladies and gentlemen. And then we're going to talk about this shooting and how the Republicans are trying to blame all of this shooting on Democrats, when in all honesty, there's blame to be thrown on both sides, but the majority of this damn blame is on MAGA. And we'll end with a good story of one of the smartest people under the age of 10. He damn sure was smarter than all of MAGA combined. All that and so much more starts right now.
I'm up early for the dealers come out. Everybody is outside till the killers come out. You ain't eating, you just act full. I'm impactful. Dozen funerals in a month. I got that full. I will give it to niggas in all rap forms. Ignatius out right now on all platforms.
That's right. You in the building with the all knowing, all loving, all feeling, all seeing, all powerful. Just damn all everything. Sexy as hell host. That's me, Lamont Tyson, bringing you political content, breaking it down for how it deals with minorities and ultimately how it deals with everybody. Please subscribe to the channel. Go get my newsletter at beacons.ai/politics of being black. Let's dive on in. So just breaking news, ladies and gentlemen, the Trump administration is firing the CDC director, and I'll get back to that in a minute. But he fired Lisa Cook via Twitter. Mind you, is that a good way to be trying to fire somebody? No, but for some reason, white MAGA, Anglo-America has decided that everything Trump do is good, and she's firing back. And I'm going to tell you why he's firing her. Us minorities know why he's firing her, but take a look at the story and then we'll dive into it.
Trump has been frustrated for months that the Fed hasn't lowered interest rates, first criticizing Fed Chair Jerome Powell and now Cook. But she writes she isn't going anywhere. Quote, President Trump purported to fire me for cause when no cause exists under the law, and he has no authority to do so. I will not resign. I will continue to carry out my duties to help the American economy, as I have been doing since 2022. And then less than an hour ago, her attorney, Abby Lowell, said he will file a lawsuit challenging the firing attempt, which he says lacks any factual or legal basis. Trump's move is unprecedented and potentially illegal against an agency that has long been apart from daily politics. It raises new questions about the central bank's ability to remain independent and has potentially huge consequences for the U.S. economy and Americans' bottom line.
This is the very definition of dictatorship, ladies and gentlemen. When you come in, as the Trump administration has done, and you fuck up the economy trying to do things the way you want to do it, and there are checks and balances in place that decide to go against what you're doing because what you're doing is wrong, and then you want to get rid of them because they're not going with it. This is just horrible. President Kankles wants to be a dictator so badly, and it's shocking we've got so many Americans that want him to do it. Now, can he really and truly get rid of Lisa Cook? No. But let me tell you what the accusations are against her. It is illegal to put first mortgage on two mortgages. So if you buy a home, you can't say that that's your primary residence, then go get another loan and claim it to be the same thing. Now, they're alleging she did this, and even if she did do this, ladies and gentlemen, she done it before her term. Now, of course, you're going to have hypocritical white America say, well, that's all we need. That's enough. When, ladies and gentlemen, who is the tenant president of white collar crime? The guy we got sitting in the White House. A lot of the MAGA folks he had talking at his rallies. A lot of the MAGA folks that run around here and online peddling bullshit, trinkets, love potions that smell like ass. A lot of them are the ones that do white collar crime. And now you're going to try to hold this woman accountable for something like this. And it happened, ladies and gentlemen, before she got her job. Now, can Trump really get rid of her? No. She holds a fixed 14-year position. And one of the arguments that the lawyer is going to give, she wasn't given notice or time to respond. And that clearly violates the Fifth Amendment, and it also violates the Federal Reserve's Act. Now, what scares me about this, we've got a Supreme Court that does not give a damn about the rule of law. They do not give a damn about what has already been established as precedents. And really what Trump is trying to do, he's trying to clear out everybody in the Federal Reserves that don't want to do his bidding to lower interest rates. And why are they not lowering interest rates? Because they're waiting for the data to come in. And Fed Chair Powell has been waiting for the real data to come in on what tariffs are doing to the American people. Now, you guys will be surprised how many MAGA folks don't realize tariffs is nothing more than a consumption tax on the American people. They don't realize that. You would be surprised how many MAGA folks don't even realize that a consumption tax comes out of your pocket and helps the rich people that have been basically socializing the government's money for years and then capitalizing on the gains and not giving you shit. And when you lower interest rates under the kind of environment we're in currently, it's going to backfire and cause inflation to go up. And then are you people that claimed you was worried about the price of your damn eggs? What are you going to say then? Because we all know it never really was about the price of eggs. It was about the price of who's in ownership of all the people, which is white MAGA. That's what it really was about. Post your comments on Lisa Cook and Trump just having an all-out war on Black women, women in general, Democrats in general, and does not want to do the right thing for the American people. And we're not even going to expect him to do the right thing. What we expect is for the people fighting for what's right to stand up and have a backbone, which apparently someone that was hired under his term did. So this young lady right here, Lisa Monarez, minority last name, was hired under the Trump administration. Guess what, ladies and gentlemen? She just decided to get that. They just decided to get that ass up out of there. You know why? Because she refuses to fall for the quack medicine, the quack guidelines that RFK is trying to put in place. And so is the Trump administration. Take a look at this.
Hey, Andrew. Well, the White House firing CDC Director Susan Monarez, saying that she's not aligned with the president's agenda of making America healthy again. And lawyers for Monarez are fighting back, saying in a statement that she was notified by a White House staffer and that as a presidential appointee confirmed by the Senate, only the president himself can fire her. And her lawyers are saying that HHS Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and HHS have set their sights on weaponizing public health for political gain, and that Monarez refused to rubber stamp unscientific, reckless directives and fire dedicated health experts. She's been in the position for only a few weeks, so that's quite a big shakeup. And we also saw 4 other CDC officials resigned along with this. And so one of them, the head of the National Center for Immunization and Respiratory Diseases, posting his resignation letter on X, saying that he's unable to serve in an environment where CDC is used as a tool to generate policies and materials that do not reflect reality and are designed to hurt rather than improve the public health. And just yesterday, the FDA, remember, approved COVID boosters for a narrower group of people, reserving the shots for people who are at higher risk for the disease, also the elderly. And it's also requiring Pfizer to run 2 placebo-controlled trials as a condition of the approval. So that's a much stricter standard than what we've seen in the past. Andrew?
Lord have mercy. There has never been a better time in American history to be a crook, to be someone who does not believe in facts, to be someone who rolls out of bed, and if you believe it to be true. Ladies and gentlemen, for this woman to be hired under the Trump administration and then get fired, how low did they go into bullshit ass medicine? We should all be alarmed. Now, let me remind you of some of the crazy shit they was trying to peddle on us in the past. Let me give you a list because y'all might forgot. And then let me remind you of this too. Y'all remember when Michelle Obama came out and her initiative was getting people healthy and MAGA folks didn't want to hear it? They was running out buying cheeseburgers, eating it with Sloppy Joe and letting the Sloppy Joe drop on Michelle Obama's beautiful face and shit like that. And now all of a sudden that Trump wants to put these quack things in place, y'all all of a sudden want to be healthy. Come on, man. Let's take a look at this shit. Do y'all remember the drug? And I can't make this stuff up, bro. I cannot make this stuff up. I'm going to just give you a list of them. Ivermectin, remember that? A livestock dewormer touted as a miracle COVID cure. Studies say no. Hydroxychloroquine, an anti-malarial drug hyped early in the Trump administration, debunked. Drinking or injecting bleach. Y'all remember Trump said that? Inhaling hydrogen peroxide. Promoted by some MAGA social media groups as a way to clean your lungs. Now, folks, don't forget I'm a respiratory therapist, and I can just go ahead and tell you that that shit is a lie. And don't forget that the person I'm currently married to is a doctor. So these CDC issues, they bother us because we know better. And then you had nebulized silver, pushed by some televangelists and MAGA-aligned figures as a cure for COVID. Pine needle tea, claimed by conspiracists to reverse the supposed shedding of the mRNA vaccine. This is not fun. Ladies and gentlemen, it's not funny. It's just that it's so crazy that it makes you laugh at the stupidity of the mental gymnastics MAGA has to do. How about this one? Anti-vaccine myths, microchips in vaccine, the false claim that Bill Gates embedded tracking chips in COVID shots. Throughout this video, I'm going to talk about something where we need to put some tracking chips in. That's going to be the next story. Magnetic arms, people claiming keys or spoons stuck to them after vaccines because of nanoparticles. What the fuck is this, G.I. Joe? Graphenite oxide in vaccines, and then other just fringe, bizarre wellness ideas peddled by the Grant Cardones and those fuckers like that. Bleach enemas, which I guess if you get screwed in the butt by somebody in MAGA, you probably do want to use that. Horse vitamins and supplements, drinking one's own urine, essential oils, and I know all my black folks done heard that shit, essential oils, as frequently healing agents. Ladies and gentlemen, are you paying attention? Is this the stuff you want running our country? You are going to have to be steadfast with the trusted physicians that is in your corner to protect you from all this bull jive, because they are quickly trying to ruin and run off proven science. Undeniable proven science. And a lot of these people are peddling this shit because they get a gain from it. Come on, y'all, wake up. It is up to each one of you who know better to get out there and preach to people that don't know better. And I know that trying to beat them down with facts doesn't work, but it does work when they're in the moment, the heat of chaos that is causing them problems. And you'd be like, you see, are you going to listen? And here's a case of that. We had a shooting in Minnesota. This is like the first week of school. And of course, I'm bothered because my little munchkin started school yesterday, and here she is. And of course, she's big now. So she started kindergarten yesterday. And we done had a whack job decide he wants to go shoot up a Catholic school. And apparently he was a Democrat because he had anti-Trump stuff on his bullets and on his guns. Let's take a look at this story, and then I'm going to talk about how we could fix this in 6 months if we wanted to, but we don't have the political will to do it.
We now know what this monster looks like, who took the lives of 2 children and injured 17 others at a great school in Minneapolis. This suspect was identified as Robin Westman, a trans man who before doing this released multiple videos on social media. They showed his weapons and ammunition laid across his room with messages written on every single one. Some of them said things like, "Where is your God?" And others said things like this. Also had a YouTube channel named Robin W., which has since been deleted, and that contains several videos of his guns, a manifesto in Russian and English, as well as a map of the Annunciation Church. In his alleged manifesto, he talks about being depressed, being sick, and thanking his friends and family for being there for him and saying, "I want to go out on my own." And in the end, he even says, "Pray for the victims and their families. Rest in peace to those poor children who lost their lives, and prayers to everyone affected by this." And as always, I'll keep you guys updated.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is sick. And when I saw this video, the first thing I saw under the comments was MAGA folks blaming Democrats for being sick. That was the first thing I saw. I saw like 2 paragraphs of folks blaming Democrats. And I'm sitting here like, how the fuck you gonna blame Democrats when for years Democrats have been fighting for gun reform, laws that fix this shit? And not only have they been fighting for that, but there was a point in time where Democrats, and they still do now, fight for mental health, and Republicans had jumped on board to fight for mental health because they wanted to defer from doing something about guns. And now Republicans have ran away from the mental health part. And so we'll put this on the screen, and you see he's got shit up here about Donald Trump. It was a trans individual, and I can guarantee you some of the issues that we ran into with this trans individual was probably didn't have health care to go get the type of mental health that they needed. And then, of course, we've got the issue of gun control. As of this point, the only thing I've heard from MAGA other than bashing Democrats is thoughts and prayers. Now, I don't want to get on my soapbox about religion because I don't really believe in none of that magical shit. I don't. But ladies and gentlemen, when has thoughts and prayers worked to stop this? It hasn't. If thoughts and prayers worked, Black people would have never been slaves. If thoughts and prayers worked, probably everybody in America would be a billionaire. If thoughts and prayers worked, Trump wouldn't be the damn president. If thoughts and prayers worked, we wouldn't have floods, hurricanes, and all the other evil shit that no preacher can try to preach away the truth of it. They're always talking these conjectures and, oh, God wants this to happen, blah, blah, blah. But this video is not about religion. This video is about how can we separate religion from specific science that is proven through countries that can help this situation. So number one, if we would have had better mental health in place, which is better health insurance, this person probably could have got the help they needed before this happened. Number two, that I have been proposing that people shoot down all the time. We have the technology to put a man on the moon, which means we have the technology to put a tracking device on all high-powered weapons. And if those high-powered weapons come anywhere within the vicinity of a highly populated area, it sends a ping to the local police department so that somebody can get over there and handle the situation quickly, or even shut the damn gun off. Because I'm trying to meet Republicans in the middle. I know that y'all don't want to stop selling your high-powered guns. And fine, sell them. But you should have something up there to protect against that gun going off in populated areas, period. Period. And my device that I'm talking about would do that. And then, of course, you know you're going to have folks hemming and hawing about freedom. Well, why would you hem and haw about taking a high-powered rifle somewhere where there's a lot of people? The argument we always hear from them is, oh, I'm using it for hunting. No, you're not. You're not out there using a high-powered rifle to tear through a damn deer. You're not. So stop the lying. It's time that Democrats and people come together for this. And if Republicans don't want to get on board, then you've got to ramrod them the same way Trump has tried to ramrod all his executive orders down our throat. You have to do that. It's just ridiculous. I'm bothered. And because I have a child that just started kindergarten. She's starting the educational process. And I do not ever want to see on the news or get a phone call that my daughter or anybody's child for that matter has been shot. I went through anger yesterday. I went through sadness. I went through what can we do? And ladies and gentlemen, this is one that we should all be getting behind. And if people don't want to get behind something that is going to make the place safer, then you got to run over them, period. Let me know what you think about my device idea. Post your comments. Please go check me out on beacons.ai/politics of being Black. And speaking of white people and their white males' fragility issues, Take a look at a video I found from my homegirl Raven Reveals about some of the mental gymnastics that go on in the head of white MAGA.
A white nationalist just won an award for writing a paper about how the Constitution doesn't apply to non-white people, and letting the U.S. become a, quote, non-white majority would be a, quote, terrible crime. That white nationalist's name is Preston Damsky, and he's a student at the University of Florida who wrote this paper for a class about originalism, which, if you don't know, is the idea that we should read the Constitution as the founders originally intended. The level of white fragility you have to tap into to look at the enslaving, colonizing founding fathers, put them on a pedestal, and then transliterate wholesale their most backwards views onto the contemporary moment is astoundingly unintelligent. Yet somehow, we're the DEI didn't earn it admissions, right? This class was taught by a Trump-nominated judge who then gave Preston the award. No surprise there for obvious reasons. Preston later went on X and said a bunch of random anti-Semitic things, including that Trump and Rubio are controlled by Jews, and Jews must be, quote, abolished by any means necessary. Sadly, I actually read his paper, and I think what strikes me the most is this grotesque mix happening of ahistoricity, racism, anti-Semitic Jews control the world trope, and the Great Replacement theory. But obviously, especially when it comes to white nationalists, we tend to see all these things happening at the same time. Like where there's one, there's often the others.
I hate it here so much.
Well, Raven, you gotta know, you just gotta know that you are the epitome of what MAGA hates. You're smart, you're beautiful, and you're fit, but more importantly, they can't have you. In the world that they want, they would have it so that you wouldn't have say so. They could run in the hen house and fuck your brains out, and there would be nothing you could do about it, so that they can remain, you can remain inferior to them. Nobody should be getting an award about how this country should be keeping minorities below. Nobody. Just absolute nobody. Because at the end of the day, times have changed. We have to adapt with the time, and we have a lot of white people that don't want to adapt to the time. And we've got black folks too, but the majority is white people that don't want to adapt to the times, because when you put situations in inequality for white people in their mind thinking that they deserve or are entitled to some level of privilege, making things equal takes away from them. And I'll be willing to admit it, it does. But that's how they wrote it in the Constitution, that things are supposed to be equal. And do I ever have to remind white guys who believe in that bullshit? When the settlers came here, they came here first to find this place for the queen and king. They get here and decide, oh shit, this is beautiful, we're gonna take it. So let's not forget they took this country from two people, the natives that was already here and the queen that they were supposed to be coming foraging for resources for. They decided they didn't want a kingdom. They wanted a democracy, a republic democracy, and that's what they created. And in that creation, we've had amendments to amend the Constitution so that we can continue with the times. And that's what we need to do. But ladies and gentlemen, Republicans, and especially MAGA, have something that most of us who deal in critical thinking don't have. They have cognitive dissonance. Excuse me, we don't have that. And here's an example of the cognitive dissonance of MAGA. Listen to this shit right here. It's gonna blow your mind. And hopefully MAGA will see this and realize I actually behave like this. Take a look. This comes from my boy Javon Bradley on IG.
Well, didn't Trump just win $16 million from ABC?
That was a settlement.
It wasn't lying.
There was no lawsuit.
That was a settlement.
Well, what's the difference? Settlement, lawsuit?
Okay, so hold on. You believe you would agree with me if somebody settles out of court, they're probably guilty, right?
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. I love that you agree with that one, Mike. So when Donald Trump settled out of court for sexual relations, or like inappropriate sexual relations with all the women that he has settled out of court with, he probably did it, right?
All the women?
Yeah, he's had multiple assault lawsuits that he has settled out of court. So you would agree?
Oh, really?
He probably assaulted those people, right? But he settled out of court.
You just agreed to it.
I said,
Mike.
He settled out of court, did he not? So then you would agree that he's a rapist for settling out of court for assault.
oh my goodness, you guys like twisting.
Mike, hold on. I'm going to ask the question again because maybe you are just
You don't know.
functionally too stupid to understand what I'm saying. Mike, let me ask you again. If somebody settles out of court, would you agree? If somebody settles out of court, if somebody goes to get sued and they settle out of court, would you agree that that person is guilty?
But you don't know what guilty of.
Jill Harth tried to sue Trump for attempted rape, and Trump settled out of court with her in 1997. Jill Harth
who did?
Sued Donald Trump for attempted rape. Trump settled out of court. So is Trump guilty of attempting to rape Jill Harth?
You don't know that. I don't know that.
Yeah, you're a fucking clown, Mike. The minute you're all so again. No, Trump,
I just said.
Wait, so let's just confirm. Let's just confirm.
Guilty. Maybe he's guilty of, but he might be guilty of something. But you can't define it as rape or,
let's just confirm here. Let's just confirm
assault. Here. Harassment or something. You can't just define.
She was accusing him of attempted
harassment instead.
You think
so much better? Good argument.
Yeah, you think it's better that he sexually harassed somebody? That's okay.
But that's what the point is. You don't know.
She attempted. So then I don't know that CBS was guilty of lying because it was just a settlement out of court.
Okay. They didn't lie.
No, it was just a settlement out of court. You have no proof of anything.
Why would they settle out of court? Why would he settle out of court?
There ain't no fucking way,
that's
bro.
so fucking insane. You're full. You are actually full of it. There's no way. There's no way that's real.
Do you guys see how when it immediately went to his guy, Trump, the cognitive dissonance kicked in? I mean, it kicked in as if he was in the UFC. It just immediately kicks in. He turns tail. Folks who believe in science, this is what we're dealing with. We're dealing with years of Republicans playing the long game, mentally preparing people to be this way, so that they can get one person to be in position to feel as though they need to rule the white race. And they're doing it now. They're prepping us by sending all these people into DC, all the National Guards into DC, by gently letting us believe that dictatorship should be the way to go. You actually have these people that used to run around talking about freedom, waving American flags and shit, now willing to let a person be their dictator because of all the peppering Republicans have done to dumb down education, to get people to believe in magic, which is religion. And when you believe or succumb to magic and religion, it makes you that much more susceptible to believe in one man because God has sent that man to be the Messiah. You don't believe me? Listen to this shit where we got MAGA folks wanting to believe or don't care that Trump is a dictator, which goes against everything Republicans used to tell us back in the day. Look at this shit.
If he says it, then I'll go with it. And if he wants to be a dictator, then so be it.
I'd rather have Donald Trump as a dictator for 4 years. Absolutely. This country needs a dictator. I hate to say that, but it's the truth.
He could stand on the front steps of the White House and commit murder, and I'm with it.
He could stand on the front steps of the White House and commit murder, and I'm still with him. Dude, go back to West Virginia and hang off them mountains with your two front teeth. See, ladies and gentlemen, this is white America that we're dealing with. White America we're dealing with. Dumb, depressed, no goals. They want to be self-servant to someone. They want to be a worker bee. They want to be told what to do and have no critical thought of their own. When they hear lies on any of the MAGA outlets they go to, number one, Fox News, do you think any of them have the critical thinking skills to sit down and look it up and say whether or not this is true? No, they don't. And they don't look shit up. That's why half of them didn't know that Trump's tariffs is a consumption tax on they white asses. Then we got some black folks out here stumping for Trump, or basically, should I say, stumping for white massa that don't give a damn. This is the fight we're having to fight, ladies and gentlemen. And you in your own home, who have MAGA folks in your circle have got to not let up on them. You've got to keep beating them down until they turn. You've got to figure out what it is that they hold dear in their own individual lives and show them how what Trump is doing, if it's not hurting them now, it will eventually get there. And last, we're going to end on a great story about an extremely smart young man who kind of looks like me when I was his age. And, you know, I was kind of smart like him, but I wasn't this damn smart. Take a look at my guy. I'm going to call him Big Little Sean.
If you could change something about the brain, what would you change?
Infinite storage. I would make it so you could remember anything and everything, and you wouldn't forget. That could have its downsides, but I mean, you'd have a pretty sick superpower, though.
So there's a brain over there, by the way. So you very familiar with the brain?
I love the brain.
Do you have a favorite part of the brain?
Let me see if we can get inside it, because my favorite part of the brain isn't on the outside.
Do a little surgery on that there, Sean.
Scalpel.
I'm your scrub nurse. There you go. Don't cause any catastrophic bleeding. Okay, so what is your favorite part of the brain here?
The hippocampus.
So what do you love about the hippocampus so much?
Memory, because memories are something that you can cherish, and I think memories are the best thing ever because they allow you to share a special bond with your past that usually animals without those developed brains that we have, they can't share that same bond with their past because they wouldn't remember.
Ladies and gentlemen, talk about smart. This guy has already made it to the men's school, super smart kid. And listen to what he said. Your memories bond you to the good things that have happened in the past. And at my age right now, I have learned that what's more important in life is the experiences you have versus the stuff you have. And this young man at that age who looks just like what I look like, and I'm so damn proud of him, not caring, because back in my day, to be dark-skinned, smart, and chubby was a recipe for disaster. And I am so happy that, and he got braces too. And I'm so happy he had just said, he has looked at everybody that might try to be a detractor to him and said, fuck you. What I know I've got is intelligence. And I'm going to ride that intelligence. That's what we need more of in America, ladies and gentlemen. In this dark age of delightment, we need to have more enlightenment by children like him, by individuals who can make a difference. We need the Democrats to start enacting critical thinking in schools, playing the long game that the Republicans played. Because if not, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be a world that is basically ruled by folks who are the crack dealers and got everybody strung out on crack. That's what Trump is trying to do to people. That's what he's trying to do. He's trying to be a white version of Nino Brown and have everybody beholden to him, and you only get what he's willing to give you. And you've got white folks who used to scream democracy, freedom, willing to give it up as long as white equals might, and white is at a height higher than that of the minorities. So ladies and gentlemen, please post me all your comments. I will chop this video up into small segments. If you're listening to me on the podcast, please share it. And if you're watching or listening, please go to my link. It is beacons.ai/politics of being black, where you can get newsletters, updates about everything I'm doing. You can get all my channels that I do. I have a YouTube movie and TV show review channel. I've got an IG. I've got a Twitter. I've got a TikTok. And I've also got a music channel I partner with called Velvet Sunset 77. If you want just some classical music to take your mind away from all the drama of politics, or you got to study, or you're writing papers and essays, please go check out that channel. And that's going to do it for me. Until that next Sexy as Hell video, here's my outro with my homegirl, Jasmine Crockett.
Somebody's bleach blonde, bad built butch body. 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 Somebody's bleach blonde, bad built butch body.